WCCO News starts now with breaking news.
That breaking news, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter has died at 100 years old. After a series of hospital stays and health battles in recent years, he decided to receive hospice care and be with his family rather than undergo further medical treatment. Skyler Henry looks back at the life and service of America's 39th president.
Wish you a good day.
Jimmy Carter was relatively unknown when he entered the 1976 presidential race.
My name is Jimmy Carter, and I'm running for president.
But the Georgia farmer and politician cultivated a following that helped him win the White House.
Let us create together a new national spirit of unity and trust.
James Earl Carter Jr. was born in 1924 in the small town of Plains, Georgia. The son of a peanut farmer, attended the U.S. Naval Academy to study nuclear science. While in the Navy, he met Rosalind Smith. The two married and had 4 children. Rosalind was by her husband's side when he decided to enter politics. After serving 2 terms in the Georgia State Senate, he ran for governor and won. When Carter joined the race for the White House, confidence in the government was low.
Well, I'm not a crook.
Americans were still angry about the Watergate scandal, and Carter made honesty a centerpiece of his campaign.
I'll never tell a lie. I'll never make a misleading statement.
In 1976, Carter beat Republican incumbent Gerald Ford to become the nation's 39th president.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
Carter set out to reorganize the executive branch, creating the Department of Energy and the Department of Education. He also dove into foreign policy issues, leading to perhaps the greatest achievement of his presidency, the Camp David Accords that resulted in peace between Egypt and Israel. In 1979, an overseas crisis erupted. Iranian militants stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, taking 52 Americans hostage for more than 400 days. As the siege dragged on, Carter's popularity plummeted. His bid for a second term ended with a landslide defeat to Ronald Reagan in 1980.
I promised you 4 years ago that I would never lie to you, so I can't stand here tonight and say it doesn't hurt.
Carter didn't slow down after leaving the White House. He built homes with Habitat for Humanity, wrote more than 20 books, and established a Center for Human Rights. In 2002, Carter was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in the Middle East and Third World nations.
There's a lot of exciting things to be done now in this, wonderful phase of my life.
In 2019, Carter became the nation's longest-living former president. Days after turning 95, he was injured in a fall. But that didn't keep him from building more homes for the needy in Nashville.
We've always gotten more out of Habitat work than we put into it. I don't think we've ever left the site without tears in our eyes.
Mr. Carter also taught Sunday school in his hometown, where he openly discussed his own mortality.
I didn't ask God to let me live, but I just asked God to give me a proper attitude toward death. And I found that I was absolutely and completely at ease with death.
At age 99, he made a rare public appearance to say goodbye to the First Lady, who was by his side for 77 years. And almost a year later, Carter celebrated his 100th birthday with family members, making him the first former U.S. president to live for a century. Skyler Henry, CBS News.
Jimmy Carter's legacy is and will be alive for generations to come, all the way up here in Minnesota. Susan-Elizabeth Littlefield explains.
This newly built home in St. Paul was generations in the making.
My parents growing up and my grandparents growing up, they wasn't raised to believe in home ownership. Home ownership wasn't for us. It wasn't for Black families.
Leandra's family's legacy was desecrated when politicians in the 60s built an interstate right through the Rondo community. 60 years later, she decided to take back her family's power.
So I wanted to be able to show my family as a whole that we can have something and it can be ours. And we're worthy. We are worthy.
And here you are.
Yes.
She made it happen through Habitat for Humanity.
What really stood out on that application was they asked, what are you looking for in a home? What would your dream home look like? Don't nobody ask, don't nobody care. Especially, yeah. Don't nobody care about your preferences. If they're going to help, they're just going to give you what they want to give you.
Through Habitat, the mom of 3 worked to build others' homes while saving for and earning her own.
Home ownership is bigger and it's deeper than I bought a home. or, oh, you know, I'm in a home now, or I own this. It's bigger than that. It's deeper. It's within. I have worth. I have worth. And if I wouldn't have went through this journey with Habitat, I wouldn't have learned that.
Habitat was founded nearly half a century ago, half a country away. A group of black and white farmers in South Georgia founded Habitat for Humanity, a program that helps bridge the racial divide via home ownership. A program South Georgia farmer turned president spent his life building.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Carter. Rosa and I have been proud to volunteer with Habitat for Humanity for more than 35 years.
When I say the name Jimmy Carter, what comes to mind for you?
I would say that he is maybe in the habitat world a little bit of a legend, and I would say he brought habitat on the map for not just this country, but the world to see and experience.
Chad heads up real estate for Habitat's Twin Cities chapter. He was there in 2010 as President Carter launched builds in North Minneapolis and the east side of St. Paul.
He brought in a lot of resources for the organization because he was here and his presence and all that he had to say.
What do you remember about him being here?
I would sum it up as probably one word, humility.
Now 100 families a year in the Twin Cities get their own owned homes, thanks to the Carters' contributions.
And those thousands of families that otherwise probably wouldn't have found a nice, safe place to lay their heads at night.
And soon there will be more. This Minneapolis townhouse complex is currently in the works.
It's like the foundations that are being put in now. That's what Habitat Humanity does for families.
Thanks to a man who knew home is where the heart is, and home is where the hope is.
If I could speak to President Carter today, I would honestly, deeply, from my soul, I would say thank you. Thank you. Because of you, this is here, and we want to keep thanking you by keeping this going on and keep pouring into it. So thank you. Thank you very much.
In St. Paul, Susan-Elizabeth Littlefield, WCCO 4 News.
Habitat for Humanity relies on thousands of volunteers, groups, and individuals. If you'd like to follow in Jimmy Carter's footsteps, we have a link to volunteer on WCCO.com.